Okay, it's 7 o'clock. Ready, Heidi?
Yep.
Okay, we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and
to the republic for which it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation, under
under
God,
God, indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I think what we'll do first is the poll to make sure we know who's with us. So if I call your name, you're with us. Your name, Jason Wienerin.
Here.
Sean Blackburn.
Here.
Jason Crone. Not yet. Ken Mossman.
Here.
Mike Perrell.
Here.
Rich Blankish.
Here.
I'm here, Jeff Bertram, and Joe Persky.
Here.
Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is the oath of office. We're all going to recite it according to staff. So if you've got your sheet there, we'll go through that. Should I just lead it, Heidi, or do you want to lead it? Or
You can all just go ahead and read it together.
okay. So
Do you want us all on at one time, or it doesn't matter if we're muted?
well, we probably shouldn't mute. Just leave it local, and we'll just all talk over each other.
Yep.
Okay. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. I, Jeff Bertram,
Richard Blankish,
solemnly
swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the
Constitution of the State of Minnesota, and that I will faithfully execute and discharge the duties of the Planning Commission in the County of Stearns, Minnesota, according to the law and to the best of my ability and understanding.
Okay. And then the next order of business is the election of officers. I asked Heidi if she was going to do it. She said I should just do it. So we'll start. We'll do the 3 positions. Somebody else wants to do it? Won't hurt my feelings.
We have code of ethics.
Oh, code of ethics?
Yeah.
Yep. So Steve Hamness is evidently with us. Steve?
Good evening. Thank you all for giving me a few minutes of your meeting's agenda today to talk about the code of ethics. Not the code of ethics, code of conduct and the training that the county is doing. The county board during the fall adopted a new policy.
Steve?
Yes?
Just a minute, please. So the actual code of ethics, the information needs to be delivered to the committee members first. So they will get a document tomorrow delivered by Adobe Sign from me, Deb Heim, stating it will be a form that they will need to fill out and sign. This is an annual code of ethics document that goes out to everybody in regards to the disclosure of financial interests. So if you look at your screen currently, you will see there's an example of what the email will look like that will land in your mailbox. And we ask that you click on that link, open it up, go through, fill out the document. You'll be able to tab through the fields that are there, and there'll be an option to click to sign at the bottom so that you can send it through for approval. All right? If you have any questions, you can give me a call at the office and I will help you walk through it. All right? Thank you.
Deb.
Jason Wienerman here. Quick question. How soon do you need that back?
Deliver it within the next couple days. That would be fine.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Okay, Steve, go ahead.
All right, thank you. So again, the county board has adopted a policy for all of its boards and committees to establish a code of conduct that is expected for all county board appointments to adhere to. Again, as part of the county's values and our mission about being professional and collaborative and accountable, it's just the next step into raising, again, our professionalism, not just with employees, but with all the people who are acting on behalf of the county. Again, that includes people such as yourselves who are citizens who have volunteered graciously of your time to take on these roles. There are two mandatory trainings that are part of this. One is a sign-off on the Code of Conduct itself. It's just a PDF to read the Code of Conduct and then to sign and acknowledge that you've read it. And the other one is our Respect in the Workplace training. It's the same training that we have all of our employees go through. And again, the feeling on behalf of administration is that any committee is a workplace of the county. We are conducting county business, and therefore it is a workplace. We have staff involved, and it is a workplace no different than the license center or the sheriff's office or anywhere else. And so our Respect in the Workplace training is something we've been using for a couple of years, and we're asking all of the board and committee members to go through it. I see, according to my records, that over half of you have already completed this training. Again, it was sent out in October. And so I'm going through to all the boards and committees where we have some folks who haven't yet completed this, just as a reminder that this training does need to be completed to comply with the county board. And to also talk about two upcoming trainings that we're going to be releasing later this year. And to help set a baseline, not just in terms of expectations on professionalism, to have it, this again, be no different than how we treat staff. We are developing two trainings on committees so that regardless of what committee people are going to for whatever their business is, be it a human services committee, planning commission, or something in the sheriff's office or extension, that there's a expectation that similar treatment will occur. So we have two trainings we're developing with St. Cloud Technical College. One is a training on best practices for running a committee. And the second one is fundamentals of Robert's Rules of Order. And those will be released this quarter for all the board and committee members to go through. Those I don't believe are going to have any kind of after quizzes. It'll be just a acknowledgement, the same as the Code of Conduct. Are there any questions regarding what I've just talked about, these two new trainings that we're coming out with, or the two trainings that were released in October?
Well, Steve, Jeff Bertram, one, I'm not sure, I know a couple of members have complained about how long it took to take it, and I know staff probably got paid when they're doing this, so I assume that we can get the $50 per diem for going through these trainings and taking hours or time to do that. Is that accurate or not?
You know, you're the first person that's ever asked that out of the many people that have gone through the training. So I don't have an answer for you today, but I will discuss it with administration and get back to you.
Okay, and then the other thing is, which is probably more problematic, only a couple of members have shared something with me, but I started trying to take it, Steve, back in December 20th, and I couldn't get in. And then I asked Shelley, how do I sign in for this? And then was told, just click on the underlying training, it should take you to it. Well, it didn't. Then I asked Deb, and Deb was nice enough to say, well, here, Troy, can you help him? Well, after 15 days of not hearing from Troy, I assume he was working every day. Then he finally responded and said, oh yeah, you need this password. Okay, well then, of course, I work 60 hours a week, so I'm not doing this every day. So every 50, I'm trying to log in to do this. Well, then when I did go in and tried to do the password on the weekend, it didn't work. Well, then I reached him again, and he said, oh, gave you the wrong password, try this one. Well, I haven't had time to try it. So if I get any credit for trying, I've certainly been trying, but maybe make it easy for the commission members that didn't do it yet, make sure that we have passwords, the right passwords, that when we do catch out some time to do this, that we can get in and get her done.
I hear your comments, and I understand it has been somewhat difficult. When we track how long it typically takes people to do this, it's anywhere between 15 minutes and 45. I understand that the passwords were sent out to all individuals in October when this was initially sent out, and I'm sure some people lost those emails or communications. And yes, we're always happy to send out additional follow-ups and that. And I apologize that there were issues over the holidays where staff were unable to be contacted, and I know that Troy is very diligent when he can getting back to people. So we will correct that for you, sir.
Appreciate that. And then Jason Crone is with us now. Jason, are you with us?
Yes, sir. I've been on my phone. I'm going to switch over to the computer here shortly.
Perfect. Thanks for being with us. And then I just want to, for the record, acknowledge now we've got the full planning commission members. We'll wrap up Steve's comments and answer any questions that you have, and then we'll probably do Jason's oath real quick.
Okay. Are there any other?
Jeff, I was actually on for the oath. I don't know if you guys could hear me or not.
Did you recite it?
Yeah, I did.
Perfect.
I believe so.
Yep, perfect. Then that's covered then. Does anybody have questions for Steve on the several trainings that he's talked about and the forum that Deb talked about?
No, but Jeff, just for the record, I kind of echo your sentiment a bit. And for those of us that are in the workforce, we go through so many of these trainings in our normal job. I'll just have my little concerns about going through the same thing through a different format. I get it to a degree, but I also kind of question it a bit if we extend that to every person that sits on a committee and volunteers to do this stuff. It's not even, to me, as much about getting paid to do it. It's just another one of these things that you have to go through. So I personally am not a huge fan. I get it, but I'm just stating my opinion. We get a lot of this stuff every day, and this is just one more of them. So I'm done. I vented.
All right.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Jason. Yep. Any other questions for Steve? If not, thank you, Steve. And then,
Thank you.
yep, good. And then you heard about the code of ethics. Jason, I assume that Deb shared with us earlier?
Yes, sir. I got
Okay.
the code of ethics aspect too, so we'll get that done.
Tomorrow she'll send that form, so we'll get that tomorrow. Okay, if I'm back on track, then now it's the election officers. Heidi said I should just convene it, so if anybody wants to do this, by all means, there won't be any hard feelings. So do feel free for all if you want to. But right now, the first office is chairperson. So are there any nominations for chairperson?
I nominate Jeff Bertram. This is Mike Farrell.
This is Sean Blackman. I'll second that.
Okay, there's been a motion and second made for me for chairperson. Any other nominations? Any other nominations? I think the legality is 3 times. Is there any other nominations for chairperson? If not, then a motion to close nominations probably would be in order.
Jason Crone makes a motion to close.
Okay, motion's been made to close nominations. Is there a second?
This is Rich. I'll second that.
Rich Blankish seconds it. So we need to do a vote of when I call your name, if you want to close nominations. Can we do both at the same time? Closing nominations and then naming me as chair? Okay. So if you are in agreement to close nominations and accept me as chair, then say aye. If you're not, then say nay. Jason Wienerman?
Aye.
Sean Blackburn?
Aye.
Jason Crone?
Aye.
Ken Mossman?
Aye.
Mike Perrell?
Aye.
Rich Blankish?
Aye.
And I'll abstain. Thank you. Second nomination would be for vice chairperson. So is there a nomination? Currently, Rich Blankish is the vice chairperson. Is there a nomination for vice chairperson?
I would like to pull my name off that. This is Rich.
Okay.
Rich, I was going to nominate you.
I'll move Jason Crone.
Mike, I'll second.
So Jason Crone's been placed in nomination for vice chairperson. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Motion would be in order.
This is Sean. I move we close the nominations.
Okay, motion's been made to close nominations. Is there a second?
Mr. Chair, I'll second that, but a question for Commissioner Crone first. Are you interested in this?
Thank you, Mr. Weenman. I appreciate you asking. Appreciate the nomination. If no one else is up for it, I suppose I'll do it. But to be honest with you, I'm cool if one of you guys want to run with this thing. There's a lot of irons in the fire, so I'm game for whatever. But if someone else would like to do it and feels compelled, I'll nominate you.
Well, right now nominations are in the process of being closed, so now's the time to say something.
Yeah, right. Does anyone else want to? Because I'll nominate you.
Hearing no other volunteers, I second the motion to close the nominations.
Okay, so the motion's been made and second to close the nominations for vice chairperson of Jason Crone. So again, if you support closing the nominations and support Jason Crone as vice chairperson, say aye when I call your name. If you do not, say nay. Jason Wienerman?
Aye.
Sean Blackburn?
Aye.
Jason Crone?
Aye. Or do I abstain?
No, you can do either one.
Oh, aye, I guess.
Okay, Ken Mossman?
Aye.
Mike Perrell?
Aye.
Rich Blankish?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. Congratulations, Jason. So the third one would be the secretary election. I'm going strictly by memory. Is that Ken Mossman? I still got it yet.
Yes,
Ken Mossman's the secretary, so we need nominations for secretary.
Ken, are you still interested?
You do absolutely nothing. You give the duties over to Beth. She does all the work, so it's not a big deal.
So in that case, I would nominate Ken for secretary.
Ken Mossman's been nominated for secretary with that ringing endorsement.
Say,
Is there-
Persky, your question, are you actually, though, the second vice chair? Is by rule? In case the two are not here, we still would have a quorum. If not, I would advise that be there. Just in
I don't
case
think
we
it's-
go down in the same plane.
Yep, I don't think that's why we never travel together. Rich and I never were in the same car together for a reason. I said car. I don't know how that would work. If I die and Jason Crone dies, then you guys can figure it out. How's that, Joe?
That's fine, but oftentimes by committee, we do have a second vice chair. And that's just so that the meeting could run if we do have a quorum.
So if Jason and I can't be there, somebody remember that it was Joe's wish to have Ken be the second vice chair.
Then I'll run the meeting.
There you go.
That'll work.
Jason Crone will second nomination for Ken.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded for Ken Mossman for secretary. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations?
This is Sean. I move we close the nominations.
Sean moves to close the nominations. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Rich Blankish seconds the nomination. So if you're for closing the nominations and having Ken be the secretary, second vice president, say aye. If you're not, then say nay. Jason Wienerman?
Aye.
Sean Blackburn?
Aye.
Jason Crone?
Aye.
Ken Mossman?
I will abstain from voting.
Mike Perrell?
Aye.
Rich Blankish?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. So Ken Mossman's the secretary. Congratulations. Before we get into the first item, as long as we're being cordial here, let's all say happy birthday to Ken Mossman today and Jason Crone tomorrow. So we have two birthdays right in a row. So happy birthday, guys.
Happy birthday, gentlemen.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Ken. And Jeff, happy pre-birthday to you as well. I know yours is knocking.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, guys.
Jeff,
I
it's
will-
Monday night, right?
Actually Sunday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's unique. One more, we would have had a majority. We would have had to do something, but at least it's not a majority of the commission.
Oh,
Yeah, Jeff, Rick Harrelson says to say hi.
Well, good. Thank you. So the first item of business is, first of all, Heidi, you should explain why we're meeting this way.
In response to the COVID-19 and pursuant to Minnesota Statute Chapter 12 relating to emergency management, Governor Walz has declared a state of emergency. In response to the state of emergency and in accordance with Minnesota Statute Chapter 13D.021, Planning Commission members and the applicants may participate by telephone or other electronic means.
Thank you. And then item 1 is to consider an amendment to the conditional use permit submitted by Twin Star Equipment, Clearwater, Minnesota, on behalf of Minnesota Properties of Clearwater and Rogers, Minnesota. Heidi, you want to do the staff report?
Yep. To consider an amendment to conditional use permit P-014866 submitted by Twin Star Equipment, Clearwater, Minnesota, on behalf of MM Properties of Clearwater, Rogers, Minnesota, according to sections 4.8, 6.45, and 9.11.5L of Stearns County Land Use and Zoning Ordinance number 439, to adjust the outdoor retail display area for an outdoor sales lot in the industrial zoning district. The property under consideration is Lot 1, Block 1, Linden Industrial Park, lying at the end of 202nd Street East in Section 34, Linden Township. This original conditional use permit was approved in January of 2020 for an outdoor sales lot. Currently, the property has retail display areas that were not part of the original approved conditional use permit. They also wanted to have the building be larger than what was shown on the original plans. We do have a compliance agreement with the applicant and property owner, which includes applying for this amendment to the conditional use permit in order to get the property into compliance with the ordinance and their permits. Property is within shoreland of Fuller Lake and Warner Lake. Both of those are natural environment lakes. This is right on I-94, but access is from 202nd, which is Township Road. They are working on a stormwater management plan that's been prepared. It's in the process of being reviewed for the property. There's several industrial and commercial businesses in the area, so this isn't out of the ordinary. The future land use map shows this as ag and rural areas in the county's comprehensive plan. The proposed conditions we have for this conditional use permit. Number 1, an approved erosion control and stormwater management plan is required by March 1st of 2021. A financial guarantee equal to 125% of the site grading and erosion and sediment control costs shall be submitted by March 15th of 2021. The stormwater facility shall be installed by July 1st, 2021. Permeable pavers or permeable asphalt shall be installed in accordance with section 7.16 of ordinance 439 by July 1st of 2021. Stormwater facilities shall be maintained in perpetuity in accordance with the approved maintenance plan. Release of any portion of the financial guarantee is contingent on approval from a professional engineer that as-built conditions meet original design specification, and a site visit by county staff is conducted to evaluate the conditions of erosion and sediment control measures. All conditions of CUP P-014866 shall remain in effect. A certificate of occupancy from Linden Township is required and shall be submitted upon completion of the new building. A septic certification for the existing septic system is required to be submitted by June 1st of 2021. A septic system is required for the new building. A septic permit shall be issued by March 1st, 2021. As an alternative, an evaluation from a licensed septic designer may be submitted showing the existing system large enough for the new building. And that's all that I have.
Okay, thank you, Heidi. We'll check who did site visits. So if when I call your name, if you did do a site visit, say yes. If you did not, say no. Jason Wienerman,
Yes.
Sean Blackburn,
Yes.
Jason Crone,
Yes.
Ken Mossman,
Yes.
Mike Perrell,
Yes.
Rich Blankish,
Yes.
Joe Persky,
Yes.
and I did too. So everyone did a site visit. Applicant introductions. I understand Patrick is with us via video WebEx. Are you with us, Patrick?
Yes, sir.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Do you have anything to add to Heidi's staff report?
First off, this is Patrick Iwan from Twin Star Equipment on behalf of MM Properties and Twin Star Equipment, 1950 202nd Street. The area that we're requesting to increase is a smaller area outside of what the original diagram showed for the existing septic system. And we have since then adjusted the map of where the septic system is, and we are working with the engineer and the planning commission on the final impervious surfaces, so that will be met on the gates and everything that Heidi went through.
Okay, thank you. Is there any questions or anything from the commission members now before we go to the public hearing?
Mr. Chair, Jason Wienerman here for Heidi. In the background, there was a discussion on the retail display areas are in unapproved locations, but there's nothing in the updated conditions discussing the display area. Has that been rectified, or are we not addressing that, or is that handled through another organization?
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Wienerman, it would be, so the area they're asking for is the area in blue on the site plan. That would be in addition to what was previously approved as part of the original CUP. So yeah, we don't have a condition specific to that, but the plans that were submitted indicate where that retail display area will go, and that's what needs to be followed. So it's the area in blue on the plan that's being added to what they originally had asked for.
Okay, and then also there was a complaint about the lack of screening, and because we're including the additional conditions to the previous ones, we're assuming screening will be installed according to the original condition number 4.
Right, so screening is required on outdoor storage areas. It's not required on retail display areas. So I think the complaint that we had received was primarily regarding no screening along I-94. Thinking that part of that should be screened as it's screening outdoor storage areas. With this request, that would be making that pretty much all retail display area, so there would be no screening required on any place that we approve as retail display area.
Okay, thank you.
I was going to ask the question about complaints. It says plural, and then normally we'd see things like that, so it's kind of artificial. I mean, is it one complaint or two, more than one? And then why haven't we seen those?
Mr. Chair, I believe it was 2 complaints from the same person. So it was one individual with the same complaint about the screening had come up, and we have been working with the applicant regarding that over the last year, and that's how we got to where we are at today.
Okay. Any other questions before we go to the public hearing? If not, let's open the public hearing. Is there anyone here? Well, there's no one in this room. Is there anyone in the other room or on video to share something about this application? I assume if they were in the other room, Shelley, you'd let us know.
It's here.
I didn't hear nothing.
No one is here for the item.
Oh, now I heard that faintly. No one is here in that room. No one's in this room. No one's with us on video. So then the motion would be in order.
I'll make a motion.
Second, Mr. Chair.
Rich Blankish makes a motion to close the public hearing. Jason Wienerman seconds it. I assume there's no correspondence then?
Nope, there's not.
Okay. So when I call your name, if you want to close the public hearing, say aye. If you don't, say no. Jason Wienerman?
Aye.
Sean Blackburn?
Aye.
Jason Crone?
Whoops. I'm sorry, aye.
Ken Mossman?
Aye.
Mike Burrell?
Aye.
Rich Blankish?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. Public hearing is closed. Any further discussion on the item? If not, then we'll go to the findings. Number one, is the proposal consistent with the existing county ordinance? Specify the section of ordinance and discuss why or why not.
Mr. Chair, this is Jason Crone. I believe it is consistent with the existing county ordinance. Land use and zoning ordinance number 439, sections 4.8, 6.45, and 9.11.5L.
Number two, are there any other standards, rules, or requirements that the proposal must meet?
Mr. Chair, Jason Wienerman here. I believe the first four conditions will continue in addition to the 5 conditions, additional conditions based upon this conditional use permit.
Number 3, is the proposed use compatible with the present and future land uses in the area? Can it be separated by distance or screening from adjacent land uses?
Mr. Chair, Jason Crone again. I believe it is under the business goals, increasing the county's regional prosperity by being globally competitive and business-friendly region. And then if you look under the rural business policies, number 3, encouraging rural businesses seeking expansion in agricultural areas to locate near major transportation corridors. Right along 94, this seems very appropriate place.
4, are there environmental concerns, groundwater, surface water, air quality, wellhead protection areas that should be addressed as part of the proposed request?
Mr.
Yes.
Chair, go ahead.
Okay, I was just going to say, yes, it's with the surface water, and that's going to be addressed with the stormwater plan.
5, has information been provided regarding the impact property values in the area as a result of the proposal?
Not at this time, Mr. Chair.
6, what potential public health, safety, and traffic generation impacts will the proposal have in relation to the area and the capability of the roads serving the area, and how are they being addressed by the proposal?
Mr. Chair, this is Sean. There's going to be very little impact or change to that area for this proposal.
7, how does the proposal affect the general health, safety, and welfare of the residents?
Mr. Chair, Sean Blackburn, again, very little effect.
8, does the proposal conform to the goals and objectives of the county's comprehensive plan? Specify which goals and objectives apply.
Mr. Chair, Jason Kuhn again. I'm going to go back to what I mentioned in number 3. I think it's compatible and the same reasons identified. Business goals and objective, increasing the county's regional prosperity, and number 3, encouraging rural business seeking expansion along travel corridors.
9, how does the proposal affect existing public services and facilities, including schools, parks, streets, and utilities?
Mr. Chair, Jason Wienerman, should be insignificant.
10, has the applicant provided financial assurance, guarantee, reclamation, or cleanup?
Mr. Chair, Sean Blackburn, that's not part of this, has not been done.
11, other issues pertinent to this matter. I would say that I think the applicant came before us in good faith the first time, and because of some misunderstandings, I guess he finds himself back before us again, or he really likes the planning commission. I'm not sure which one that is, but I think through no fault of his own, he's here again. So with that, motion would be in order.
Mr. Chair, Rich. Go ahead, Jason.
I can second it. I will make a motion, Jason Cohen, to approve with the proposed or with the recommended action plan as far as the language is going for the day. The recommended requirements from the county.
Is there a second?
I'll second it. This is Rich.
Okay. Jason Crone moves and Rich Blankish seconds. Recommend approval to county board, which will be February 2nd meeting. Any discussion? If not, if you're for the recommendation to approve to the county board, say aye. If you're not, say nay. When I call your name, Jason Wienerman.
Aye.
Sean Blackburn.
Aye.
Jason Crone.
Aye.
Ken Mossman.
Aye.
Mike Perrell.
Aye.
Rich Blankish.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. So the recommendation is made to the county board for recommendation to approve. Next item is.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, board.
Thank you, Patrick.
Take care.
Number 2 is item number 2, consider a major shoreline alteration application submitted by Stanley Plattner, Golden Valley. Heidi, do you want to do the staff report?
I can take that one, Mr. Chair. This is Nick Newman.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. Yep, so this one's a major shoreline alteration application. According to sections 10.1.7C, 10.2.14B, 10.2.14I of Land Use and Zoning Ordinance 439, request include construction of a boulder retaining wall, a raised paver patio, and placement of fill in a mapped floodway area. The property is about 1.4 acres. A steep slope exists on almost all of the property, and a fair portion of this is right at the threshold of being considered a bluff. The slope on the property is about 30% from where the patio is proposed, landward of 100 feet, 27%. The patio landward 50 feet, and the slope rises above 25% or 25 feet above the ordinary high water level, which makes it the bluff. The proposed retaining wall and patio are located within that bluff impact zone. The soils out here are a loamy sand, which are considered highly erodible. The majority of the existing slope is vegetated. A few trees have been removed by the property owner near the water body in the proposed project area. There's no septic on the property. We have listed some of the site visits that we have conducted out on the property over the last couple of years. Greg Berg with the Soil and Water Conservation District has been out there as well. The applicant was requesting the last 2 years to put rock near the shoreline, and we had explained about the floodway that is present in this area, the mapped floodway, which due to that, any rock placement in the floodway is what would trigger the CUP. The proposed contractor is Supreme Lawn and Landscaping. They were out on site on a site visit as well. And just wanted to note here, kind of going through the timeline, that the applicant requested that this application be heard right away and not to extend it into the spring. The project would include some riprap or fill placement along 56 feet of shoreline in the mapped floodway area, as shown on the map. Active erosion is not an issue along the shoreline. This is also highlighted in the comments by Greg Berg with Soil and Water. As I mentioned, any placement of material in the mapped floodway requires an approved CUP. We did get some correspondence with DNR before the plea application was submitted. We had inquired with them, and the DNR stated that riprap would not be allowed below the ordinary high water level without some demonstrated need to prevent erosion, and no rise certificate would normally be required in floodway, but it can be waived if the material is balanced below the 1% chance or 100-year floodplain elevation. This is in the DNR comments. That just means that any material that would go in would have to come out, the same amount of material. A 31-foot long retaining wall, boulder wall up to 4 feet high, located as close as 7 feet from the ordinary high water level, is proposed, which is also in the mapped floodway area and near the mapped floodway area. And then 2 kind of wing walls that kind of dive back into the slope are proposed on either side of the patio as well. The patio would be 285 square feet, and this would be within the bluff impact zone area. If this was granted, there's 2 kind of additional conditions that we might recommend to include. Those would be native vegetation must be used to stabilize all disturbed areas and cover all rock that is placed. A native vegetation plan must be submitted by June 1st, 2021 and approved by Environmental Services before the project shall commence. And then rock fill placement must be balanced with material to be removed from the mapped floodway, otherwise the no-rise certification shall be required. With that, we didn't receive any correspondence on it from the public. I could, if you want me to, I could read through comments from Greg Berg at Soil and Water or from Seal at the DNR if it's desired.
Why don't we hold off on that? They've been included. I think we've read them. In case members have questions on them, we can expand on them at that point. So is that the staff report then, Nick?
Yep, that's all I have.
Thank you. Shelley, was that you?
Yes.
I can't hear Shelley Benson.
Yeah, you're real faint, Shelley.
Okay, I'll turn it up. Did that help?
Not really.
Okay. I'm not sure why you're not hearing.
That's better.
Okay, the applicant did not show up.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if you want to continue this hearing or how you want to proceed because the applicant is not here.
Well, I think normally, if it's a normal procedure, my opinion on this would be that, and Deb passed me a note that he wasn't here, then we would say, let's wait for the applicant. But he insisted, based on the written notes and also what Mr. Newman said, that he wanted to fast track this and he wanted to have the hearing. So I say we abide by his wishes. And if he didn't show up, I guess that's on him. But members' comments certainly are open.
Mr. Chair, I would concur with that. He had the option, he made the suggestion of having the public hearing. And also, he decided not to show. I think we can go through the request with what we have and make a recommendation.
Mr. Chair, he was here earlier, and then he left because he was here an hour and a half ahead of the hearing, and we told him to come at 7 o'clock. So we're not sure why he didn't come back.
Right.
Mr. Chair, Jason Weaver here. A quick question for maybe Nick. The application decision deadline is March 19th. What's the framework for that? We have to decide? Is that how that works?
No, so that's when the county board would need to make the decision. So, and then the reason why that deadline comes into place is we've already administratively extended it, that extra 60 days. And the applicant didn't want to sign the waiver to extend it beyond that. So that's kind of the hard and fast deadline. But if this was moved to next month, I believe the board would meet at least once between that meeting and March 19th, but by the county board would need to make a decision by March 19th.
So in light of that, Mr. Chair, if it's appropriate, I would like to make a motion to continue this until February.
Motion's been made to continue it.
Mr. Chair, Sean Blackburn. Yeah, I like that idea, and I would prefer if he was here to be able to answer our questions. So I'm going to second that motion.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to continue it to the February meeting. I'm sorry. I'm personally going to vote no on that because one, staff met with them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times over the last 2 years. DNR said, they wanted to have some time and weren't allowed that. He was here, he left. He certainly knows we're meeting, so for a variety of issues, and it takes a lot of staff time, it takes our time. And again, normally we would do that, but when it's this involved and then it was forced kind of to be heard, we've had one other applications that went into effect that missed the timelines. And I'm a little concerned that might be what's going on. I'm not sure, but I don't support continuing it.
Mr. Chair, we just heard from the applicant. He's actually gotten sick between the time he was here and now. So is he looking for a continuation? He is looking for a continuation because he got sick.
And of course, in that situation, that's obviously, if he's gotten sick and he's asking for it, then everything I just said, I'm going to take that back. So are you ready? Okay. So a motion was made.
How far back you went, Jeff?
Heidi's enjoying this, and I'm enjoying this, but I don't know if everybody caught on, but that's okay. Motion's been made and seconded to recommend continue it to March. Do we have to do a date certain?
February.
I'm sorry, February. I keep saying March because of the deadline. February, what is it, 17th? See how good I am.
Let me double check.
I'm doing this strictly by memory, no calendar.
February 18th.
I wonder, one day off. So we'll continue it to the February 18th meeting at the request of the applicant and due to the circumstances of him becoming ill. All those in favor of continuing it, say yes. If you do not, say no. Jason Wienerman?
Yes.
Sean Blackburn?
Yes.
Jason Crone?
Yes.
Ken Mossman?
Yes.
Mike Perrell?
Yes.
Rich Blankish?
Yes.
And the chair votes aye. So it's continued to the February 18th Planning Commission meeting. Okay?
Mr. Chair, just a question, have we already had an extension on that then?
Yes, we did the administrative extension for 60 additional days from the 60, so that's that March 19th deadline.
Oh, okay, because again, I hate.
You're muted, Joe.
What's that?
We lost Joe.
I can see him, we just can't hear him.
Okay. I saw the stamp on the application was back in November. I just want to make sure we were following the right timeline here.
Yep. We have that into consideration. There were materials that were submitted after that date on that application page.
Okay.
Okay.
And Deb was just explaining to me, the circumstances, so it's a little unique. So we did what we did. So here we are. Then we have the minutes of the December 17th, 2020 meeting. Motion would be in order.
I move. This is Sean. I move to approve the minutes.
This is Rich. I'll second that.
Okay, motion's been moved and second to approve the minutes. Any discussion? Not. If you want to approve the minutes, say aye when I call your name. If not, say nay. Jason Wienerman.
Aye.
Sean Blackburn.
Aye.
Jason Crone.
Aye.
Ken Mossman.
Aye.
Mike Perrell.
Aye.
Rich Blankish.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. Couple of things real quick. Deb is in the other room. Maybe just to keep it clean because everybody's detailed, if we could get a mileage per diem miscellaneous claim sheet for 2021 or put a 1 through the 20, just to make sure we're doing the right thing, that would be helpful if you want to send that out. And then, Shelley, you're still with us yet, I assume?
Yes.
Yep. Someone was going to check, I think it was you, on the Planning Commission request, if a roll call has to be done when meeting, or did anybody ever find that out?
It's my understanding that yes, you do.
Okay, because I know Commissioner
You've been doing it
Persky.
properly.
Okay, Commissioner Persky wanted that checked in, so, yep. And then an email that Angie sent about the update on the county board. The last sentence that said that they did not want solar to be a part of the notice of the February 16th, 21st hearing. I wasn't sure what that meant, Shelley. So they just don't want to talk about it yet, or?
They weren't going to put it on any solar amendments on for that public hearing.
Got it. So does that, and again, I may be slow, does that mean they want to talk about it more or have more discussion with us or amongst themselves, or just not
I
do
think
anything?
there'll be discussion coming up.
Okay.
I believe
Got it.
the board may be discussing it on the next meeting.
Got it. And then have we given up on with our friend Scott from Novel Energy on the questions that after many attempts where the homes are benefiting from the solar farms and all that stuff? We haven't heard back from him yet, have we?
Mr. Chair, you're correct. We have not heard any additional, gotten any additional information from them.
Okay. Oh, are we getting township involvement per our new process here? Do you know, like our townships, tonight, we obviously had 2 of them, but are we hearing from townships? Are we where we want it to be at with that?
Mr. Chair, I know for so far, they've only been doing the rezonings like has been required. We haven't gotten anything from any townships for any CUPs or IUPs that we've had the last few months.
Thank you. And then again, following up Commissioner Persky's concern and my concern about the last item, this continuation of that Carlson Aaron Bell property in Richmond that was continued, they were going to come back. Never really specifically said, we're not missing any deadlines with that or anything, are we, Shelley or Heidi? The one with the
I can speak to that.
Okay,
They signed a waiver. They signed a waiver to extend that indefinitely on that deadline. So they haven't submitted any additional materials yet. They were looking at working with somebody, and they had contacted us for some information, but we haven't received any materials in with them yet. So. But they did sign the waiver to extend it indefinitely, so there's no deadline for us on that.
Got it. Thank you, Nick. And then on the Howard and Penny Covert Solar Farm 13 issue that we dealt with, they were going to, a new site plan will be submitted showing the access road outside of the wetland, and that will be forwarded to the Planning Commission. I don't believe I ever saw anything.
Mr. Chair, we did get that. I can email that out to you guys.
That would be good. It was in the staff report that we would get it when you got it. So maybe just share that with us then, that we can keep track of that. And the last thing I got is Heidi, you sent out the Ordinance Review Committee mining, and there was a bunch of questions. Are those, do you want us to respond to that before the meeting on Monday night, or is that like for the discussion on Monday night?
That will be discussed at a future meeting. Those are questions that I want to send out to other counties and get their input on. So I was just wanting to make sure we were covering our bases and covering all of the topics you may want to talk about in regards to mining, and making sure I'm asking all the questions that you guys would want answers to. I believe that discussion will happen in March. So I'd like to get that out to the other counties in the next few days. So if you had any other questions or things you wanted us to inquire about from other counties, just shoot me an email and let me know.
Got it. Perfect. So we still have time. I haven't had a chance to look at this. So
yeah,
that's why I was confused. I wanted to make sure we all understood that.
Yeah.
Okay. With that, I think again,
Mr. Chair, I got a question for Nick, if I can.
Only because you said please.
Please.
Okay.
Okay, Nick, I was concerned with those pictures that we saw on that property for tonight, and with the neighboring property, that there were those trees right on the shoreline. Can a person take those trees off before they come to us, or are they supposed to come to us before they remove trees on the shoreline?
Yeah, so any tree removal would require a vegetation alteration application with us before it was done. The only thing they could remove without vegetation alteration would be anything that's dead or diseased or invasive.
So, I mean, so then both that property and the neighboring property have done that. They've cut trees right on the shoreline. Is that in violation then?
Yeah, so the neighboring property, like I'd indicated in that email, they are going to have to come forward with a vegetation plan to reestablish vegetation there. As we saw via aerial photos over the last 15 years, there's been some that have been removed every year, it appears. So yeah, that is a violation that is not able to be done.
Yeah, even from the pictures that we have on page 35, you can see that those were previous to the trees removed on both properties. I don't know if you can put that up. Can you move to that page?
I don't have control of it.
We can maybe address that, when we
Okay.
address it, but that's good food for thought, Joe, and that's a good question. And tree removal, of course, it's not as blatant as the other two that we've seen, but it certainly seems to be a new trend in Stearns County.
Well, you folks maybe didn't see when it came to Cozy Corner, we had a good number of people that were honest about Save the Chain and about environmental issues and how, the impact that they were doing at Cozy Corner was just so degrading to the chain. But these two property owners have taken off more trees than what Cozy Corner had suggested. So I'm just curious. It's disheartening to see that happen. It's just, and I wish we had some control over it. And obviously, after the Big Fish incident as well, that restoration is important, I think.
Well, and we do have control of it by approving projects, not approving projects, and then also once they are exposed to staff and us, and I guess certainly you and I and others have been vigilant about making sure with the drowned property and that one on Big Fish, or if I've got the two wrong, but the two blatant ones, we'll keep asking questions and make sure that there is a plan, that it is followed, and that it's redone the way it's supposed to be redone. So,
okay.
Mr. Chair?
Chip?
Shelley?
So the process to date is we are going to be having our public hearing on February 16th related to shoreland changes. If you feel that we need to change the standards or the things that we've done based on what's going on and what you're seeing, then you need to make those statements at the public hearing, whether it be you or any of the Planning Commission members.
And of course, Joe can make them in person.
Correct.
Okay. Well, great. Mitchell and the Painesville team are winning 53-24, so I'm going to go try to catch part of it on the radio or on my phone on the way home. So I'm just going to adjourn the meeting.
Jeff.
Yes.
2 items.
Yep, go ahead.
Coming out of the Park Commission.
Yes.
It is still written that the Planning Commission is responsible for the budget of Stearns County Parks. And so there's Ben Anderson's going to try to get that corrected. Somewhere along the line, the Planning Commission was responsible for the county parks, and then because there weren't any county parks, and now things have changed drastically, obviously. So that's going to be cleaned up. And then the other thing I brought to the Park Commission attention, being that in the 2040 plan, we're like about 450 acres short on park and trail space, which potentially could impact us. And I brought up also to their concern in regards to the amount of proposed solar gardens may have an impact on the county if the county desires to establish a park somewhere out in the western part of the county. So just thought I'd bring that to our attention.
Thanks, Rich.
Thank you.
I'm curious, Rich, and if you don't know, you maybe can find out. My memory of this is that they do not take into they don't include trails like the Lake Coronis Recreational Trail, which is an 18-mile trail around Painesville that the county did participate in. They don't consider that as part of their trail or a part of a trail system, do they? It has to directly be a county trail.
That doesn't fall under the county maintenance. That the
it does not. No,
it doesn't.
So it's not part of our assets.
Because, and the reason I bring that up is it's a beautiful regional trail, or local trail, but it fits into the Glacial Lakes Trail. So they maybe you guys should just look at, there aren't a lot of projects like that, but they should take into account projects like that, that do exist, that are accessible by county residents, you know, that may not directly be in control of the county, but accessible to county residents.
Yeah. Is it the Dairyland Trail that's on the north side of Paynesville?
Glacial Lakes Trail. And I know Steve Peterson. Yeah, Steve Peterson appeared before you, and I'm working with that group to complete the Glacial Lakes Trail from Paynesville to Richmond. And I certainly hope the county can step up. We need some leadership there, because you're not dealing with municipalities like Paynesville, or, you know, Roscoe's not capable of taking the lead, but it's really foolish to have the investment of the Glacial Lakes Trail and then just have that 5 miles of trail not completed.
Yeah, I think the big challenge there is trying to bring the trail across 23 and the railroad. And so, well, you're well aware of what the issues are there and trying to do that, but that has come up to our meetings, I don't know, 2 or 3 times already in regards to that. I mean, everything is money, you know, as far as getting things done, but at least it's on the radar.
I got bonding money in 1988 to purchase it because a cable company wanted to buy the abandoned line. And so we quickly bought it before a cable company would take it out of that possibility one day in the future. Well, it's been sitting there since then. And with it intersecting with the live rail line, that's our problem. We don't know how to cross the live rail line because they won't let us do it. You either have to go over or under, and either one's $1 million proposition. So we'll talk about that some other time. Any other issues by planning commission members? If not, I'll adjourn the meeting. See you guys in, talk to you on Monday night.
Yep. Right on. Bye, everybody.
Happy birthday.